Ministries. Our special guest today is breakthrough specialist and Amazon bestseller author Nick Rowe. His website is discoverthepowerofjoy.com. discoverthepowerofjoy.com. Today, Nick will share his experience with applying the law of attraction in his own life. Thank you, Nick, for being a guest today. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Katina. How are you doing?
Wonderful, wonderful. So, yeah, we actually met on Facebook a few weeks ago, and I was inspired about you being in the hot seat with Abraham. But before we get to that part, I wanted to ask you, um, when did you start studying and practicing the teachings of Abraham Hicks and the law of attraction?
I first read the Law of Attraction book by Abraham Hicks probably around 2000. And I've been studying them, following them on and off since then.
Mm-hmm.
Really in the last, I would say 4 to 5 years that I've been listening to them pretty much nonstop. So I would say I've probably
Wow.
been to every seminar since probably around 2010, 2011.
Really? Wow, that's awesome. So how many seminars have you been to of theirs in person?
In person, I think just 6 seminars. The
Wow.
first seminars we did was the Caribbean cruise. That was in March a couple of years ago. We've
Mm-hmm.
driven down to the seminars in Boston, I think 2 or 3 times now. And then we did the Cancun land cruise last April.
That is so awesome. That is awesome.
The more we do it, the more we want to do it.
I know, right? It's like so addicting.
Um,
That is so cool. I know I'm addicted to Abraham. It's just awesome. I love their teachings, and my
yeah,
life has truly changed.
and
Just
it's not just about Abraham, but it's about connecting with all those people too, all those
hmm
vibration,
hmm
loving
I
people.
get it. I look forward to going in person myself and going on a cruise.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing you at one of those cruises.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, can you give us some examples of how the law of attraction has worked in your own life?
Yeah, I mean, I've manifested a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll just list off some of the what people consider the biggest or the most impressive manifestations. Money, of course, everybody wants to manifest money.
Right.
I was part of a company. There was 4 of us when the company first started, and then 5 years later, that company was sold for about 330 million.
Wow.
So I made a little chunk of change there.
That's great.
And what was interesting about that is about 6 to 7 months before the acquisition, I really started applying, some of the concepts I use with my clients.
Mm-hmm.
And then relationships, that's kind of my favorite one. I manifested really an incredible relationship.
Wow.
And the
That's beautiful.
story behind that was that about, I would say 3 to 4 months after I had left my marriage, I was kind of living alone, a couple hours away from my town. I was really missing my kids. I was only seeing my kids half the week.
Mm-hmm.
And even though leaving my marriage I knew was the right choice for me,
Mm-hmm.
kind of at like an all-time low. And I said, okay, universe, show me a sign that, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few hours later, I remembered I had to run to the grocery store. So I hopped in my car, started driving down, my usual coastal route. And
Mm-hmm.
mission was kicking in. It was saying, oh, take the highway, take this route that I don't usually take.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to my intuition and I merged onto the highway. And as soon as I merged, I looked up and the license plate in the front of me said, trust God.
Wow.
And when that happened, it was kind of like a big shifting moment for me where I kind of really let go of
Mm-hmm.
trying to control my reality, right? Really went into the state of allowing. And it was a few months later that I met my current partner. Her name is Anik. So my name is Nick. Her name is Anik. Growing up,
Yeah.
both our parents called us Nick.
Wow.
When we met, we were both driving kind of the same car.
Mm-hmm.
And after we were dating for maybe 5 or 6 months, we realized that we had even both left our marriages on the exact same day.
That is amazing.
So yeah, so that's quite the set of synchronicities there.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely.
And of
Absolutely.
course, and like I've manifested lots of things, and like my kids are amazing. I've got a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful home on the beach. I'm really grateful that I get to do what I love every day and work with amazing clients. So, I tell people my biggest manifestation is just, living the life that I want to live, right? Living
Yeah.
a life of freedom that I think everybody should be living. But unfortunately, most people aren't because they just maybe aren't successful or don't quite know how to apply the law of attraction.
Right. That's great. What an amazing story. So you've been in the hot seat with Abraham at the live events a few times. You said about 6 times. So,
Yeah.
so going back to the first time, can you just kind of go back and just tell us what that felt like? What was that experience like?
Yeah, the first time in the hot seat was at the Cancun event back in April. And what was interesting about the Cancun Land Cruise is that it's a week-long event at a resort in Cancun, and it's 5 days of seminars, and the seminars run from 9 to 1 during those.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to get in the hot seat this seminar, and it was really the only thing missing from making this trip feel really complete.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the last day and the last segment, and it was pretty much, there was maybe half an hour left in that last segment, and I kind of gave up. I was like, oh, I'm not going to get in the hot seat. I had a great trip, so it's. But I had my hand up anyway, and of course that's when she called me up, and
Right.
my question was all about why do things tend to happen when we let go, right?
Yeah.
That was the discussion. But what was interesting, and this is very common, to other people I've talked to who've been in the hot seat, is that your first time in the hot seat, I don't know if it was because I was in front of 1,500 people. I don't know if it was because of, Abraham's energy, but it's very hard to stay grounded and
Wow.
hard to kind of absorb at a conscious level what she's saying.
Wow.
So the only thing I remembered from that discussion was her saying, this was a really good conversation as I was getting up to leave.
Wow.
So I had to wait till the recordings to really be able to absorb what she said. But again, I guess that's quite a common occurrence when it's the first time in your hot seat.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually seen people just watching the videos on YouTube. I've actually seen people like when they get up, they're like, I don't even remember anything that you said.
That's exactly what it is.
So, say that at the end. So, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
That is amazing. So, can you share some of your other experiences when you're in the hot seat?
Yeah, all of my other hot seat was in Boston, was at the one-day events. And the more you do it, the easier it is to stay grounded and kind of remember. So the last time I was in the hot seat was about 4 weeks ago. And it was just like a casual discussion, a casual conversation.
Wow.
It's fairly easy for me to get into the hot seat now. So I was the second chosen last time I was there. The time before that, I actually got in the hot seat twice in the same seminar.
Wow.
So I don't know if I just have the right groove going on. Or,
yeah.
But, and maybe it's just my belief in my ability to just know that I'm going to get picked. And I do tend to get picked. I think I've been in the hot seat every seminar I've been to since Cancun.
That is amazing. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I always hear Abraham say, "You lit up. We could see you. You were light. How do they say it? You were lit up. We could see you. We could see you."
Yeah, and it's a combination
Energy thing.
I think it's an energy. It's about the person being in alignment. It's about letting go, and it's about the flow of the conversation. So she wants to make sure she's choosing people where that answer is going to be beneficial for like the most amount of people in the audience as possible as well.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's great.
I've heard her explain that a couple of times.
So do you like actually look into her eyes? When I say her, we mean Esther.
It's hard. It would be hard because she's moving around quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it's more when I'm in the hot seat, I'm just so present that I'm not looking at this or that. I'm just there absorbing the energy, absorbing the discussion, and really just enjoying the conversation.
That's great. That is awesome.
Yeah.
What are some of the questions that you asked Abraham, and what were the answers that you received?
The first one was about why is it that things show up when I let go? Why when I give up? And she said, it's not that you're giving up on your desire. You don't no longer want your desire anymore. It's that I was giving up on efforting.
Right. So trying to make it happen.
Yeah. So it's like you're vibrationally letting go, right? And that's a letting go of resistance, right? And that's what allows the universe to kind of do more of its work. And it's actually a big theme I've been seeing in a lot of my clients lately, which is interesting. And she said that in Boston too, that a lot of people are efforting way too much, and just people
Right.
just need to chill out and stop trying so hard.
How do we do that though? Because most people are wired to be in control and to make things happen. And
Yeah,
because when you relax, when you let go, you're actually trusting the universe. And even myself, I'm at that place where I'm learning to allow, because it is an art.
yeah,
It's an art
absolutely.
to allow, to let go. Because when you let go, that's what you're doing. You're allowing, like you're saying, you chill out. And I always hear Abraham say, just chill out,
Yeah.
meditate, lay down, go to sleep, take a nap.
Well, it's not just about chilling out from an action standpoint. So if you sit on your couch all day to chill out and you stop working on your business, but your mind is still focusing and thinking about business, you're still not letting go, right?
Hmm.
So really it's about doing things that keep you in the moment and like just being. For example, yesterday I went and I bought a 3,000 piece puzzle.
Hmm.
So sitting there and focusing and trying to put together this gigantic puzzle is the way to get me focused off of work and being in the now.
I get it.
Yeah. And like my favorite way is traveling. Whenever I'm traveling, that's when I make the most amount of money and that's when I get the most amount of client signups.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Like, do you go to different events or?
Last week I had a couple of speaking engagements, so I was traveling all week for those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah. And I mean, I love speaking. I love getting paid to speak.
Absolutely.
So for me, it's a lot of fun because I get to share my message,
Hmm.
especially when it's in corporate where it's people who aren't necessarily looking for this stuff.
Hmm.
And I get to just, eat in good restaurants, spend time. My girlfriend comes with me. It's
Yeah.
just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and life should be fun. Your work and what you do should be fun too. Should be
Absolutely.
something you're passionate about. And
Absolutely.
that you are. That's great. That's great. Can you share like one profound moment that you've had with Abraham? Like what stands out? Not necessarily if you're in the hot seat, but just being there in the presence of Abraham and everybody at a seminar.
Yeah, what stands out for me is the energy at the big events. And when I say the big events, I mean like the week-long cruises or the land cruise, because everybody's there in that Abe energy for a whole week.
Mm-hmm.
And the energy is so high and it's such an accepting, loving energy. Because
Mm-hmm.
everybody there is unconditional, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's
Yeah.
judging anybody. Everybody's just there to be in the joy, be in the love, and have fun. And it's always a huge party. It's always a great time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So if someone is just starting out with learning about Abraham or law of attraction, what advice would you give to them?
The most common mistake that people make when they're trying to apply law of attraction is that they're trying to actively manifest,
Mm-hmm.
and the universe already knows what you want. So
Mm-hmm.
when I look at law of attraction with people, it's not about trying to figure out how to manifest, but it's about figuring out what you're doing that's preventing those things from showing up.
Mm-hmm.
And in 4 to 5 cases, so 80% of the time, it's emotional baggage that people aren't aware that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's walking around with this emotional baggage, and that impacts your attraction point, right? That creates resistance. And people don't know that it's there, similar to like a dishwasher. So
Mm-hmm.
if you turn on the dishwasher, you hear the noise that the dishwasher makes, maybe for 30 seconds, maybe for a minute. But if you stay in the kitchen and you start doing other things, you don't hear the dishwasher anymore, even
Right.
though it's still running. It becomes
Mm-hmm.
background noise, right? It's
Right.
out of your awareness. Well, people are doing the same thing with their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And that, of course, impacts your attraction point. The example I use is from a client, or not a client, a friend a few years ago. He came up to me in a bar and he said, Nick, I'm struggling. I don't feel like getting out of bed in the morning. Do you have any advice for me?
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, what's the biggest stress in your life? And he thought for a second. He said, you know what? It's money. All my friends are doing all these things that I can't do. I can pay my bills, and that's pretty much it. And I said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
so how does that make you feel? And
Right.
his response was powerless. And I said, okay, so go back to your last significant relationship. I said, what was the worst part about that relationship? He thought about it for a second. He said, you know what? She always had to have the last word. She,
Okay.
she would never listen to me. We would always hang out with her friends. She'd never want to hang out with my friends. We would never do what I wanted to do. I said, how did that make you feel? And his response again was powerless.
Right.
And I said,
Right.
go back to the significant relationship before that one. Was powerlessness a theme there? And he said, yes, it was. And I said, go all the way back to childhood, because these are what I call dominant negative emotions.
Okay.
I said, was there a theme of powerlessness in your childhood? Usually they come from childhood or from traumatic circumstances. And he said, yeah, that he was the youngest of 4 or 5 kids, could only follow his older siblings around. Nobody wanted to do what he wanted to do. Again, powerlessness.
Okay, I get it.
So most people have these emotions that they're not aware of, and they keep attracting these situations over and over again based on those emotions. So right there in the restaurant, we did some tapping.
Mm-hmm.
For about 15, 20 minutes, we cleared the emotional powerlessness, a few things that came up. Within the next 3 months, he had a brand new girlfriend, different than any other girlfriend he'd ever been with. And he had a brand new job making more money than he'd ever made before.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah, and you know, it's so common, right? But people just don't realize it, which is unfortunate.
Wow, that's amazing. Just like that, you help them to clear it.
Yeah,
That's great.
I mean, when I work with people, you know, it takes more than typically than one clearing session. Usually I work with people for a couple of months.
Yeah.
Over those 2 months, it's a combination of the emotional clearing work, momentum shifting, learning how to reprogram your thought patterns. So it's not just a one thing you need to look at. There's a number of different things, but
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes it's just 1 or 2 things that you need to focus on or shift to really start, letting the clients show up or shift your health problem or, wherever it is that you're stuck.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So can you go ahead and share with us the services that you offer?
Yeah, so my main income comes from my one-on-one work with clients. I work with 5 to 6 clients every month. I do seminars, I do keynote and corporate speaking. I've got the book, The Power of Joy, which has been out for about 6 months. I think just under.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're just under 1,000 copies now, which is great because my goal was 1,000 in a year.
Good.
We're on track to maybe doubling that.
That's great.
I also do like a free group coaching call. Right now it's every Tuesday nights. It's called inthevortex.party.
Wow.
And it's a Q&A kind of similar to Abraham style. So I call it the virtual hot seat.
That is so cool.
So we basically talk for 10, 15 minutes. Last time I talked about the biggest money blockers people have. And then we just jump into Q&A. So people have questions. They ask about, why they're stuck with certain circumstances, what to do about it. And we just kind of have fun. So anybody wants to hop onto that, there's a call. Usually it's typically every Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
To sign up, you just go to inthevortex.party in your web browser and you'll get to a sign up form.
And it's every Tuesday at what time?
Usually it's at 7:00 Eastern, but we might start mixing it up because I'm getting more requests for people in other time zones. So the schedule is posted on the website.
Okay, and your website again?
That one's on inthevortex.party.
Okay, great. So if people want to join you, they need to probably log on, 5 or 10 minutes early or?
Yeah, so when they sign up on the website, it'll send them an email the day of the call, the afternoon, with a link. And there's also a Facebook group link as well when they sign up. So everybody jumps into the Facebook group and I support people in there as well.
Okay, awesome. How can your book be purchased?
Most people get it off Amazon.
Okay, you did say that. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's at Barnes and Nobles too, but most people get it on Amazon.com.
Okay, great. Any last thoughts? Anything else you wanted to share?
No, just for most people, it's just advice is just, look into your emotional baggage, right? If you're really stuck with manifestations, that's probably the best place to look. And try to chill out. Try not to try so hard, right? Give yourself a break and just follow the flow.
Follow the flow. That's great. Okay, wonderful. So thank you so much for being a guest on the Awakening with Katina Love Show today. So much, Nick. Thank you.
My pleasure. I'll do it anytime.
Thank you. And audience, thank you so much for tuning in to the Awakening with Katina Love. Namaste.